Are you bored of long videos? Okay, here is a shorter one. Watch a corporate mouse on the journey to learn HTML in 2020. Join me and see things like this. Because why not? A recipe web page, part 6, adding buttons. Hi there, it's Katcoolka. How are you today? Take a seat and let's watch the next thing I want to add to this page. As you already know from the intro, I would like to add a button that will be used for navigation in the recipe web page. The web page is quite long due to the amount of text that is part of the recipe, so I decided to split the page itself into several sections that will be decorated with functional button, which will be referring back to heading 1. How am I going to do that? Let's start with the scrolling back to heading 1 and adding new attribute. This new attribute is called the HTML ID, which is used to specify a unique ID for an HTML element. We cannot have more than one element with the same ID in an HTML document. And the syntax is quite easy, as you can see in the top left corner. I'm just adding ID equals up in quotation marks, and that's it. So this is how I edit ID in the heading 1. Now I should decide on the location of these new buttons that will be referring to the ID up. The first place is below the picture of the main dish. Then I'm thinking about adding a button about steps. The next logical space is about new ingredients, and the last one should be about resources. Now, with the locations defined, I should start thinking about which element I will be using for referring to a location in this recipe web page. From the past, I already used one that is very useful and will be also used here, and this one is called a element which defines a hyperlink. In this case, the href attribute will be referring to the ID we've created in the heading 1, which is called up. When we are referring to a specific ID in the HTML, we should use the hashtag. So as you can see in the script, I am adding hashtag before the name up, and I am also adding the closing tag for a. The A element will be wrapped around new tag I will be introducing shortly, and this new tag is called button. In HTML, this defines a clickable button which can also contain a text with a call for action, for example, click me or something like that. In this case, I'll be using simple up with 3 arrows. And yes, it is that easy to add a button to the web page. Just FYI, the recipe web page acted as a big button for a few seconds, so if you scroll back, you will see that. This new element should be now visible in the future web page, so if I scroll below the ingredients, I should see that, and here it is, in the middle section of the screen. Creation of this specific button is a time saver. I don't have to create new button for each new section in the recipe web page. I can just copy and paste it where it is necessary. So in this case, I will be adding the button below the steps, or let's say above new ingredients, and also about the resources. Now that are all buttons in the places where I want them, and I know I added only 3 out of 4. Let's test them, and as you can see in the middle section, it is working. The future web page is showing how it looks like when you click on the up button in several places of this recipe web page. It is scrolling the page up to the heading 1. With that being said, we have completed another step in my list of tasks that I would like to accomplish in this recipe web page, homework. And as you can see, the list is quite long, so I'm quite happy with the outcome. I've implemented a lot of steps and a lot of elements, and I tested my skills in this environment a lot during past 6 parts of these videos. And for me, as a non-software developer, it is a quite good outcome. Last thing I want to do is to test this web page in CodePen. So let's copy paste the script and check how it looks like in this environment. As I've mentioned in my previous video, it is always good to test the script in a different web browser or in a different tool, so you can see how it looks like or how the layout works. What are the differences and discrepancies, so you can work on the correction. If you want to know how did I get here, please watch my HTML playlist on my channel. If you are interested how this web page will look like in the future, please consider subscribing and click on the bell notification. If you like this video, please give it a like and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.